Good day and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this video we're going to take a look at Demon Hunter changes that have come to Demon Hunters for Season 2 of the War Within. Now Demon Hunters have actually been touched quite a bit by Blizzard going into Season 2, kind of understandably so. I think there were some changes that are definitely needed, especially when it comes to their crowd control abilities, some alterations to be done to them as a class. We'll take a look at them and obviously discuss a little bit about how they did in terms of prior logs. But yeah, so let's talk about the general changes for Demon Hunters. So Lost in Darkness has been redesigned. Spectral Sight has a 5-second reduced cooldown, no longer reduces movement speed. This is more than fine. Spectral Sight's been reworked, no longer removed upon taking an action, no longer removed upon taking damage, now removed by loss of control effects, now magic dispelled, movement penalty reduced. So they've made it so that Spectral Sight just is a more usable ability. This, for me, is very, very straightforward. They've then done some flat changes to very baseline abilities that are kind of flat standard across all Demon Hunters, whether they're tanks or not. Immolation Aura going up, huge. All Demon Hunters pretty much use that. The Hunt, huge change. Sigil Spite, big change. Sigil Flame, big change. All of this is just flat AoE single target damage. The Hunt especially, this is one of the main priority single target damage abilities for tanks and DPS spec Demon Hunter, so it's very important. Imprison now breaks based on a small damage threshold instead of any damage. This is also very good, rather than basically making Imprison, which is a great CC control spell, instantly break, which caused a lot of issues with any splash AoE. It now doesn't, which is great. Activating Vengeful Retreat now enforces a brief cooldown for Fellblade, similar to its behavior with Fell Rush. This is just a slight balancing, it's not too major. Activating Fellblade shortly after activating Vengeful Retreat will now cancel Vengeful Retreat's movement if Fellblade's target is too close to dash to it. So again, these are just some adjustments due to some of the innate mobility that Demon Hunters were having that was maybe a little bit too mobile in a way. Heroic talents or heroes talents, there was always going to be quite a big change to Elderachi Reaper, like really quite a notable change, as both this and Fellscard were really kind of behind when it came to the hero talent kind of trees. So Elderachi Reaper Wounded Quarry has been updated. Exposes weakness in the target of your Reaver's mark, causing your physical damage to any enemy to also deal 20% of the damage dealt to your target marked as chaos, and this will sometimes shatter a lesser soul fragment. You can see the developers have kind of made a note here. The soul generation of its previous effect was important to the pacing and mechanics in order to match overall into the gameplay where updating the damage effect have a chance to generate a lesser soul fragment. So basically, with this, essentially they're trying to rework how the damage was generated from Elderachi Reaper and Wounded Quarry, and this overall is a good change, and they basically enabled it to still proc a lesser soul fragment because those soul fragments are crucial to your kind of tempo. They just kind of fixed some issues here in terms of how it was scaling, which I think is more than fine. In Fellscard, they've changed, so Demon Surge damage increased by 65% and now deals reduced damage beyond 8 targets. This is just to kind of give it more stable damage. So instead of people really only kind of proccing huge damage when they're taking on massive mobs, you'll now have more consistent damage with smaller packs, which overall is actually probably better just for functionality across most bits of content outside of like mass raid pools. Flamebound now increases Immolation Aura bonus damage by 50% and Student of Suffering bonus mastery value damage, mastery value reduced and duration reduced. So just a little bit of balancing for Fellscard, giving it a lot more AoE damage control. Then we'll talk about Havoc. So Havoc, obviously in terms of like damage, yeah, single target, not really huge. We're looking at like 14th in terms of rankings at about a 630 item level. In terms of your AoE, also not super huge. We're looking at about 15th. So really not massive per se for the class. So they were, generally speaking, very middle of the road as a class. So I understand that they are going to get hopefully quite a few changes, and we can kind of see that here. So new talent, Scream Brutality. Blade Dance automatically triggers Throw Glaive on your primary target for 100% damage, and each slash has a 50% chance to throw Glaive on an enemy for 35% damage. So this just immediately basically gives you some more AoE and some more innate passive damage. Momentum renamed Exergy and has been updated. The Hunt and Vengeful Retreat increase your damage by 5% for 20 seconds. This is to give you a bigger window for damage based on now the new utilization of the Hunt, which I think is better since its damage increase. Inertia has been updated. The Hunt and Vengeful Retreat cause your next Fell Rush or Fell Blade to empower you, increasing damage. So again, coinciding around the Hunt, we're trying to really increase that single target damage capability, making the Hunt a more viable ability and giving the class a big increase in single target and burst capabilities. Lots of 20-second increases, 18% increase for 5 seconds, increase in damage. All of this kind of coincides around that Hunt ability, allowing you to really spike. Unbound Chaos, Hunt and Vengeful Retreat cause your next Fell Rush or Fell Blade to deal 500% damage. So again, building that kind of Hunt proc speak kind of peak design. Cycle of Hatred has been redesigned. I-Beam reduces the cooldown of your next I-Beam by 2.5 to 5 seconds, stacking up to 10 to 20 seconds. So just basically a change to allow you to proc more I-Beam. Cycle of Hatred additional aura stacks generated now persist until the Demon Hunter has been out of combat for 60 seconds without casting I-Beam. So this is also just to allow you to carry stacks over. A lot of the times allowing you, especially in crowded dungeons, mob packs, raids, to just kind of carry those procs between them, keeping your damage up. Demonic Presence effectiveness increased by 25%, all ability damage up by 5, Blade Dance damage up, this is for AoE, Immolation Aura up, AoE Soul's Card damage reduced to 80% through your Throw Glaive was 100%. This is fine because obviously this now means more Throw Glaive blocks. Fire Inside now also causes your Immolation Aura to deal Chaos damage instead of Fire. Chaos damage just is a better damage type than Fire. Fix an issue that caused Demon Hide to apply an inflated bonus for Immolation Aura. AG and Inertia choice notice swap locations. Cycle of Hatred is now 1 point talent, and any means necessary has been removed. For the Fellsguard, Enduring Torment now increases Blade Dance and Chaos Strike damage on non-demon form. Burning Blades now deals 50% of listed ability damage instead of 35%, and Demon Surge now causes Metamorphosis. All in all, honestly, the changes are very clear. You have huge changes around the Hunt, creating a new peak proc time for you, allowing you to really kind of do more damage. And then obviously we just have some flat damage increases and some changes to Fellsguard to make it more appealing for classes in general. For Vengeance, the list of changes is a lot smaller. Vengeance was in a good position in Season 1. As a tank, its changes are just kind of more in line with basically giving it more of that DPS that they say is kind of common amongst all tanks. They're really looking to give you solid DPS. So Vengeance, all ability damage increased by 20%. So this is in line with what they were saying about DKs and other tanks. Burning Blood bonus fire damage reduced to 8 was 10. This is because of the overall increase. Fiery Demise bonus damage to fire damage dealt reduced to 1530 was 2040. This is again because these two abilities weren't in a bad space, so they're just kind of cancelling out that on specific abilities. Demon's Bite duration increased. This is good, just allowing you a bit more kind of comfort in your cycle. Cycle of Binding effects is now triggered by Sigil of Flame and reduces Sigil School skill down by 5 seconds. So this is pretty good overall, allowing you more Sigil procs, more Sigil utilizations. For large chance to generate self-remnants has been increased at lower target counts. This is good to just help your rotation against single targets because it was feeling a little bit inconsistent. Feed the Demon is now 1 point talent. Feed the Demon now reduces cooldown on Demon Spikes by 0.35 seconds per soul fragment consumed. This is also just a rotationary change. Fellsguard, Demon Surge damage reduced by 10%. Burning Blades now deals 40% of this damage over 6 seconds. It fixed an issue with Fell Devastation, did not share cooldown of Fell Desolation. All in all, good changes. I think obviously for Havoc, very big changes to kind of making a more hunt-centric proc kind of peak build, but good damage changes all round that will help Havoc a lot, I think, with its kind of mid-tier placing. And then you have the Vengeance changes, which aren't so big, but generally will just help it with its DPS, like most tanks were struggling and dealing with, which I think overall is pretty good.